there are those projects that even a 2-ounce ball peen hammer can't move around. This, what used to be over and under, was magged out of a Maryland tidal salt marsh where it had been for almost 6 months. It went over the side. The guys knew they lost it. They came back. Wanted to know whether or not we could recover the choke tubes or not without messing up the patina. Well, okay, we're going to attempt to go there. This thing is going to need some help. This is probably going to be a 3 or 4 cigar project, so strap in because this is a deep dive, and down a rabbit hole we go now. Important thing that we did before we even got this thing out of Maryland was make sure that we beat this gun open, and there was a live round in the bottom barrel. I don't have any B-roll. So there are 2 things that are going to help this gun. Obviously, angel piss. We like this stuff. We're just going to start hosing this whole thing down. Are we really worried about the wood? No, we're really not. We're just going to get the whole thing wet, because one of the first things we got to do is we got to get the fore end off this thing so we can dynamite the barrels off of it. Of course, a little bit of the magic smoke helps. Well, we did a little camera moving. We waited about 5 minutes here, and you know, I don't know how lucky we're going to get, but man, wouldn't it be cool? So there is the salt in the air. Really gacked this thing up. Look at this. Wow. So I was hoping against hope was that we could get this up and that we might actually be able to dynamite this fore end off. Oh my God. I want to be careful that I don't break anything here, because I would like to actually be able to operate this gun sometime in the future. Okay, well, lots of this stuff. I'm not sponsored by Croyle. In fact, I'm not sponsored by anyone. Well, you want to talk about stuff that penetrates. It's the original, and it's the best. It's back when they made chemicals that turn your other eyebrow white. Okay. Let's see here. What we don't know is what mechanism has to pop that. So I'm going to mechanically agitate this. She's moving. All right. Well, it looks like we may have turned this into an Acroglass episode. There seems to have been a pre-existing flaw in the wood that caused it to crack. It's okay. It blew off in one piece, and that makes for a prime candidate for repair. We're still working with the fact that we appear to be kind of fused up here. The thing was dynamited open to get the live round out of it. So I'm still working with this. We're penetrating on both sides here. Hang on, a little bit more. Once we break this thin film of rust, we should be able to come back in here. So while we're at it, we'll just hit it with a little bit of air here to get everything off the bench. And then, so there's some detritus on the gun that has to be knocked off. By and large, I would have to say one of my worst candidates. I've seen guns in pretty bad shape before, and this one's pretty much shaping up to be absolutely the worst thing I have ever laid eyes on. But we'll just keep going. Okay, we'll gently remove the fore end here. Okay, there it goes. See, the iron's coming off. I mean, we have some repair work here to do, but we've been victorious before. I'm sure we'll be victorious again in the future here. All right, fore end iron's in pretty good shape. The automatic ejector parts are still there, and the scrot isn't that deep. I mean, it's got a lot of Glock on it, but we'll probably be able to bring it back. It should buff right out. Okay. Oh, well, it's not that bad. I mean, the concretion's in here. There's just a little bit of light surface rust. We should be able to get at that. All right, also note for the future self, the stock is slightly loose in the action, and that might have been an existing issue before the gun was dropped overboard. And also there's a large amount of dirt loading on the inside there that we may have to go after. So I guess now that we have the barrel separated, we know it's empty, we've got the fore end off, I think we'll go after trying to get the stock off this thing and see whether or not we can succeed. Anyway, there is a backup plan for getting this off. If the stock bolt is fused, we'll just take we'll make a hacksaw cut right here through the grain where it's easy to repair. And we'll just cut the stock bolt off, pop it out, and then later on we'll do a duffel cut repair on the back end and glue the ass end back onto the front end of this. Hopefully we won't have to do anything quite that invasive. Okay, well, let me get this jig. New camera angle. Stand by. All right, remember, we do not want to mark up the chokes. But you got through all that mud. Yeah, look at that. Oh, wow. That's a three-dimensional pile of schmutz coming off in his hand there. Careful, careful. Sheldon is still an apprentice in training, and while he is very good, he does not understand the delicate nature of over and under choke tubes. So we're using this as a training session. Yeah, there you go. While clearing the choke tubes, Sheldon noticed that he may or may not have caused a void in the side of the barrels. I think soldering a new barrel on the bottom might be necessary, but we'll take that as it comes. My best guess is the 6 Mike bit. The quarter was a little bit small. Now the head of this thing was a bit loose, so I'm hoping that it doesn't fight us. We'll get up inside the back end here. Okay, it's just some detritus falling out of the action. That's light duty. We'll go ahead and clean that. Hang on here. Okay, I'm meeting with some resistance, and I believe the stock bolt goes through, penetrates in, and had a little glob of schmutz on the end of it. Just a little bit of Glock, we'll get it, no problem. Okay, so as we can see here, the inside of the lock is going to need some help. Remember, guys, when you store your weapons in salt water, make sure that you store the muzzle down in order to minimize the contamination of our natural resources with gun oils. I'll only use probably water-based oils, just to keep stuff like this from screwing things up. For those of you that have never been inside of a over and under before, we definitely have an upper and lower hammer. These are the two main springs. There's an inertial device located right here that slides back and forth under inertia to reset the sears, located here. And of course we have the top lever that moves through this cassette to pull the 2 pins to unlock it. We'll run this through the conversion bat 2-3 times here and knock it back, and we'll take a look at what it is before we even begin to take it apart. Sometimes you just get the wood off the gun and then run it through once or twice, and it makes driving all the pins out easier, and it makes determining how much metal prep we're going to have to do, because I think we're going to have to reblue this. Sometimes a slightly more aggressive wheel is necessary to penetrate the more difficult aspects of the rust. Here we have Sheldon throwing a cloud of orangeness. One of the beauties of a good rust bluing job is that if you're throwing sparks, you know that the bluing was good underneath. You really shouldn't throw sparks, but in this case, I can understand why he might be. Sheldon, are you able to see the screw for that trigger guard yet? I can't see it. Penetrate down. Let's see if we can. Yeah, get close. You think maybe we need a more powerful grinding wheel?
Possibly.
Yeah, okay. I've seen this done before on the internet. So let's have a look at what we're doing while we can still breathe. Ah, look at that. We're penetrating down through all that. This should definitely be a useful piece of kit when we get done. Outstanding. This, friends, is why I have apprentices. We've mounted the stock in my checkering cradle, and I get an opportunity to use my brand new Almond Precision checkering tool. Do you need $2,500 worth of the tool to do this? I don't know. The precision is awesome though. So we'll just hack out a master line here, hack out a master line here, follow your guidelines very, very carefully and make sure you understand exactly what it is you're doing here. All right, and we'll just hack the fit here and cut a precision checkering pattern on this, as anyone else actually would. As you can see, the quality of the wood is amazing, and it doesn't look like it's been gnawed out by a trained rat. But I'm just saying, it's important to remember all this and know what you're doing before you get in advance. I'll get this stock knocked out in the next 5 minutes, and we'll get on out to something more important. So here we have an amazingly recreated shotgun. It's completely done and filmed in broad daylight, so you can see all of its hues and colors. Honestly, guys, do you honestly believe that you can take that crapped up pile of garbage and turn it into one of these? You can't. There's holes in the barrel. Everything's solid, messed up, and the wood feels like balsa wood. So don't believe it. I really don't. BS is BS. Carbon-based life forms. Signing off.